Ladies and gentlemen, my name is TotalBiscuit, and I'm here to ask and answer one simple question. WTF is Sword of the Stars, The Pit. Why the hell does this game even exist? Was the question first on my mind when I discovered this. I'm like, hang on, what? Is this an expansion for Sword of the Stars? Hey, I liked Sword of the Stars, I dabbled in it a bit. It was a pretty good light 4X game with some nice ship combat. Pretty good for that. That was the original Sword of the Stars, by the way, after a couple of expansions. In its launch state, it was a mess. And then they, of course, released Sword of the Stars 2, which is an unmitigated disaster, and as far as I'm aware, still hasn't been fully fixed, although it's getting there. Sword of the Stars 2 burned a lot of people. These guys also made a game called Fort Zombie, which had exactly the same problem. So let's just say that I wasn't exactly confident of this game when I decided to pick it up. It also doesn't make any sense that it exists. It's a roguelike based in the Sword of the Stars universe. And no, it's not like FTL where you're flying a ship. You're a dude going into a facility. Like, what? I mean, that's just a really, really odd idea. But I decided, yeah, okay. I'll give it a shot. I'll see what's going on with it. I'll give it a try. Options menu is fairly lax, as you can probably see, although you can rebind the keys. Full screen on or off. It looks a bit pixely here, but don't be fooled. This is not an 8 or 16-bit style game, even though the menu kind of looks like it. So as I said, it is a roguelike, so let's get in there and find out what's going on. So I'm going to load up my game. Now, this is what you will probably notice when you go into this game, is that it's actually got fairly high-fidelity tile sets. It actually reminds me a little bit of Fallout, as in the original Fallout. So look at this and see what's going on. So, like many roguelikes, the notion of it is that you go through randomly generated floors. The lower you go, the more difficult the game gets. You level up as you go, you acquire equipment and upgrades, and you try and survive. Now, also like roguelikes, the game is, for the most part, just straight up out to kill you most of the time. And you may run into situations where you will get absolutely and completely destroyed. But that's half the fun of roguelikes. There's also a bit of skill involved in it, because like many roguelikes, even though it looks like I'm running around in real time, the game is actually turn-based. Now what this means is every time I make a move, enemies get to make a move. So as long as I'm not moving, enemies can't actually do anything. But as soon as I take an action, they will be able to do something as well. Now dependent on my speed, I may be able to take more actions than they, or the other way around. So we'll be finding some combat fairly shortly, no doubt, since we're going down to the next floor. Oh, it's a zoo. Yeah, it's actually full of this stuff. Now, oh, do I have a grenade? I have an EMP grenade. I have a feeling that's not going to be helpful here. So I'm going to open up my inventory. And I think those of you who played the original XCOM probably just got super excited. And that's because look at this inventory screen. Is this not a thing of beauty? It is to me. I find this thing is quite gorgeous. It's really nice sprite art. It's nice, clean, colourful, a little bit cartoony sprite art. And quite frankly, yeah, there's a bit of nostalgia involved in that. As you can see here, I've got my paper doll up to the top, whereby I can equip various pieces of gear. Currently, I'm wearing jumpsuit armor. At least, actually, that was my jumpsuit. I'm currently wearing polarized armor, which is just a little bit better. Gives me armor versus slicing attacks and so on and so forth, as well as additional armor value over my default jumpsuit, which you can... I think there it is, yes, you can see it there. It took a bit of damage, so it's got less armor, it's taken some durability hits and so on and so forth, so this is not so good. Looking through my inventory, I'll also note that items in the inventory take up space, which is always nice, so a little bit of inventory management going on there. By wearing the utility belt, I can actually carry more items, and I've got all sorts of things. Some of these are a little bit weird. I have a Zytocot fungi bar, which I am informed is delicious. I could eat that right now. Oh, unfortunately, it would appear that actually poisoned me. Not ideal. So, the gimmick that's going on with Sword of the Stars, The Pit, is that you're entering an alien facility and not everything is predictable. In fact, most things aren't. There are traps which are actually beneficial, and then there are traps which are not. There are food items which look delicious and then end up poisoning you, just like this. There are devices which can be used to craft and upgrade your gear, or may in turn set you on fire, and so on and so forth. There are even random mods which can be applied to both your weapons and yourself, and you have no idea what they do until you actually use them, which is a little bit crazy. Now, it seems that I don't really have an area of effect weapon, so I'm probably just going to have to tough this out. I made it significantly more difficult by eating the bar, which poisoned me, which very well might mean that I am going to die. But we will see. I'm going to equip my pistol. I have 6 rounds of the pistol. Now, what I can do here is, by using the arrow keys, I can target one of these creatures. I'm going to target the one that's closest to me, and I'm going to open fire, which results in that dying. Okay, this one's coming towards me. I'm already taking damage from the poison. This doesn't look friendly. This looks very dangerous. Here's hoping I can kill it before it kills me. Oh, that hurts a lot. Okay. Thankfully, it seems something's using slashing damage against me, which I do actually have some resistance to. Yeah, I'm poisoned and I'm being... Uh-oh. And I'm out of ammo. There you can see. This pistol only holds 6 shots. Reloading would take 2 turns, which means I'm going to take 2 turns worth of damage. So I'm going to switch to my knife and I'm going to hit him with that. There we go. Thankfully, that was enough to kill him. And it looks like I should be able to kill that rat. There we go. That was bad news, so I'm going to use my medkit. Now, this is something that old-school RPG fans might like. There are skills in this game. In this case, in order to heal myself, I have a 99% chance of success with 46 medical skills. So, again, this is very much something that may remind you of times gone by, especially with games like Fallout. There are other games that did that, but Fallout's probably the best example of it, at least in terms of more of a futuristic kind of game. Now, I am still poisoned. I don't believe I have any anti-venom. That's something that I could potentially craft, but this could kill me. I just burned a medkit. The medkit doesn't... try again. Words. Yeah, words are hard. The medkit does not fix the poison, unfortunately, so... That's a bit of a pain. I am gathering items here, which are crafting ingredients. There may be a medkit in the rock pile. Let's search it. I'm going to use my foraging skill in order to do that. Wow, I'm losing stats and everything here. This is a bad, bad poison. I should not have eaten that fungi bar. That was a terrible notion. Oh, what did I find? A consulto lobster cake. Is this going to turn me into a newt? Because, you know, it might. Apparently, it is delicious. I don't... Okay, we'll eat it. There we go. That one, thankfully, didn't poison me. Now, it looks like there's a locker here. Should be able to pick that. So skills abound in this particular game, and when you level up, you will also be able to level up your stats as well as your skills. They also level up on their own. A Hiver multi-tool. I wonder what this does. A highly adaptive tool that can aid in a variety of electronic and mechanical tasks. Using it drains power, so it will eventually need to be recharged at a charging hub. So that seems kind of useful. I'm still poisoned, and I might still die from this poison. Eventually, this will... go, but it's draining my stats like no one's business, which I really, really hate. I'm going to use my motion sensor device here in order to find enemies. So there's 3 behind this door. Let's reload my pistol and get ready to fight them. I'm taking a lot of damage here. Lockpicking, doors, and things like that can fail and can set off alarms and things like that. So, these are nasty. These are big security bots. Even using weapons. I think I'm just going to straight up die here. I don't see any way around this. Yeah, I'm doomed. GG. That is the nature of roguelike games. As you can see, you die, and that's kind of half the fun of it. So let's play again, shall we? And this starts me up once again in a randomly generated area. So we're right back into the game. There's 3 classes available in the game. This is about to get really messy by the looks of it. I'm just going to shoot to the nearest target until they all die. Thankfully, these guys can't do too much damage. 3 classes in the game: Engineer, Scout, and Marine. And they all have different skills as well as different starting items. In this case, I'm playing the Engineer because I like the notion of having very high skills and being able to take advantage of all that kind of stuff. I haven't come across anywhere that lets me craft yet, which is a little unfortunate. There are various kinds of crafting stations throughout the game, as the tutorial was very keen to tell me, but I haven't run into any of them yet. But then again, I haven't really gotten past level 3. Apparently the game has about 30 levels in it, and it's pretty difficult. This is only on normal, and there are 2 difficulty levels that are harder than this. Now, what I'm seeing so far is a pretty damn enjoyable game. The music's fairly forgettable, and the sound assets... Try again. Sound assets aren't exactly amazing, but... the combat and the roguelike elements of the game seem really, really solid. I like the emphasis on crafting. And, roguelike games have always been about survival, which I've been on this survival binge over the last couple of days thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great if this game had a survival element in it? Well, roguelikes are pretty much nothing but that. So in this case, as you can see, I've leveled up. I'll be able to upgrade. I'm going to upgrade my foraging because I like the survival elements. I like to be able to dig through rock pools in order to find different stuff. Might be good to upgrade my pistol as well. There's actually quite a lot of skills in this game, as you can see. Too many to actually fit on the screen. Upgrade my knife as well, since I'll be getting back to that in last resort. My pistol can only take 6 shots. I'm looking to find better gear, but I've yet to manage to do that so far. Let's upgrade my finesse, and we can put point in brains as well. There we go. And some points in medical, and then gun down the rat. Nice. And a maintenance bot, which is coming at me right now. There we go. I've got one last shot. Uh-oh. Yeah, should have reloaded before moving. That would have been smart. Obviously, at harder difficulty levels, this might have been a really, really big deal. Now, I think that the community of people that really likes roguelike games have certain expectations, and I've been a dabbler in roguelikes for a while. I played probably my first roguelike, was it 15 years ago maybe? And that was actually Angband, and I played variants of Angband, and the cool thing about Angband was that it was really, really hard, and it had randomly generated levels. At that point, that was really, really cool. The not-so-cool thing about Angband is it didn't have any graphics. It was all represented via ASCII characters, which is not particularly nice. Now, recently, we've had an interesting selection of games which you could basically call Babby's first roguelike. Dungeons of Dreadmore is a great example of this, and it seems like Sword of the Stars, The Pit, is being added to that collection. The game, as far as I can tell so far, appears to be very compelling. It's got a nice formula to it. I like the fact that it's futuristic. You don't get all that many roguelikes that are based in a future setting. I like the graphics style. It's really quite pretty, and you might say, oh, it's very basic. Yeah, but it invokes nostalgia. This really nice pixel art. It's not 32-bit? Idiot. What are you talking about? It's not 8-bit or 16-bit. It's a nice pixel art style. It set its style down, and it said, this is what we want to do. And it seemed to work pretty well. Ah, red mutation syndrome. Let's take it. Great. XP health drained by 5. Yeah, I guess that probably wasn't very good. So as you can see, I took a mutation serum, and it didn't work out to be particularly useful. In fact, it was exactly the opposite of that, and there's definitely a risk element in there. Now, in terms of what these serums actually do, it does appear to be very random, but it did mention in the tutorial that you can kind of figure it out based on their color code, although it wasn't really clear on how that works. Does it randomize every game? Is that something you can learn over time? I don't really know. Should I not be taking any more red serum in this particular game? Is that a bad thing? Hard to say. Or does that just mean that the serum is XP related and I'm just kind of rolling the dice on it? The random element is something that was occurring a lot in FTL, and some people really liked it, some people hated it. Personally, I kind of liked FTL. I didn't really mind. I thought the joy was in the journey when it came to FTL, and yes, you could run into a situation where you would just be completely boned, but a lot of the times you kind of led yourself into that kind of situation. Yeah, you might get completely unlucky and end up with really terrible weapons and nothing good happens. It can happen. Yeah, it's possible. But again, the fun is in the journey. I think that this game probably has a sufficient amount of random in it to keep it interesting, as well as a sufficient amount of skill-based stuff and decisions that you have to make. I think that this game seems like it's got a decent amount of replayability to it, especially with the 3 different classes that all sort of play in a different style. I enjoy that very much. And as bizarre as it seems, the Sword of the Stars universe does give a nice little element to it. What I haven't been able to show you yet is decoding stuff. There's a really neat idea within this game where you can find data consoles which have encoded messages, and you can try and decipher them from their alien language. And it depends on your decipher skill, but sometimes you only get bits of it, and the rest of it is in some random alien language, so you have to kind of try and figure it out. And the whole idea is you can get recipes from that. So there's this recipe that allows you to make it appears to be some kind of delicious fondue, but some of the parts of it are just in alien, and I can't even figure out what they are. And that's a cool idea. That's a really nice thing. It also brings in this element of humor into the game. Sword of the Stars never really been a serious game. It's always had some weird stuff. I mean, fairly early on in a Sword of the Stars game, you could end up fighting a giant space seahorse. You know, it can happen. There's some weird and wonderful creatures in that game. So honestly, I like that element to it. And even though I have a feeling that you're probably only going to get some of the jokes if you've actually played Sword of the Stars, but a lot of it just seems kind of funny anyway. And it's like, oh, this is this kind of wacky, interesting, light sci-fi environment, and it's a good theme. Yeah, it's good theme. I can't think of a better set of words. I was looking for a nice cinnamon. God, what is wrong with me? I was a synonym, not a cinnamon. You jackass. God, man. Have I been eating sleeping pills today? Is that what's happened to my brain? Apparently, let me upgrade my brains. There we go. Wonderful. A nice cinnamon. Good Lord. I'm embarrassed. Apparently, my grasp of the English language is gradually slipping through my fingers. Can't imagine why. I've been in America for too long, clearly. Okay, let's get some more upgrades. More foraging. There's my medical there. Upgrade biotech a little bit. I'm just sort of upgrading things at random here. It's like, I'm sure there are optimal skill builds, but I don't really know them yet, so I guess that doesn't really matter. Gear-wise, I haven't really come across a huge amount of upgrades as of yet, but like on these floors, you wouldn't necessarily expect that, so I guess that's not really too bad. What I have seen is an upgrade for armor. That was on my previous game. So I imagine you could probably get upgraded weapons as well. And you can also get these mods, which will give random benefits or downsides that you can apply to your guns and other weapons. I mean, hell, if you want to go for a build that's basically based on melee, there's nothing really stopping you from doing that. You can upgrade both blades and knives, which are separate things. So it seems like a pretty cool idea. I'm going to try and use this anti-venom here. Poison is no longer in your system. Very, very good. Let's get the poison out, especially considering poison apparently does more than just health damage. That's something I want to be a little bit concerned about. Search the rot pile. What do we find? Tarka Warbread. Do I wish to eat it? Let us eat the Tarka Warbread. That blue bar there is your hunger bar. It is something that you need to keep on. Oh, I've been stunned. My pistol's been damaged. That's something I'll need to repair. I can thankfully use my repair kit in order to do that. Now, overall, I would say that this is a game that you might want to look into if the notion of a light roguelike experience with a nice amount of throwback RPG skills and progression types sounds good to you, then I would say it's something that you should be considering. Huh. That's nice. Haha. As you can see, I can use this to cleanse food of problems. What do I do? Right-click to activate it? I can throw something in there. Let's throw this in here. Oh, I can make stuff. Nice. This will actually allow you to show you the crafting here. And I need Tarka Warbread and some cooked meat. That's currently raw meat, so I don't think I can really turn that into anything. I can just try crafting with it. Attempt unknown recipe. Does that cook the meat? Aha! Well, it's made it safe meat, so that's pretty good. I should be able to eat that. And then it drops it on the floor. That's entirely logical. There you go. All sorts of different possibilities with this game. If you're looking for a light roguelike experience, then this game will set you back around $10. And from what I've played of it so far, it's surprisingly solid. Also doesn't appear to be buggy, which is nice, considering that Kerberos does not exactly have the best history. That's a big warning to you. They do not have the best history when it comes to their games. They are generally fairly unreliable. They're also known for biting off a little bit more than they can chew. Although I think in this case, it's kind of nice that they made a smaller game. They made something that they could evidently handle, and it seems like their ideas have finally come to fruition, and they've created a game that doesn't suck. Ah, bread, excellent. If only I could cook that meat. I wonder, actually. I don't know if I can make it in there. I wonder if I combine the war bread. I guess I can't do that. Yeah, it's mostly because this is not actually a cooking device. It's just for purification. Hopefully I'll eventually find something that I can cook in, and then I can make some cool stuff. It's always nice. There we go. What do we get from there? Ah, we use the lockpick set to get a lockpick set. Yeah, that's typical RPG logic, isn't it? And I just ran over a trap that apparently recharged my digital assistant. Had some really weird stuff going on with this game. There's not a lot of bad things to really say about it. It's basic, certainly. As I said, the music isn't really that great, and the sound assets they're a bit tinny. They're somewhat repetitive, I've got to say, as well. There's some voice acting for the main character, but not a huge amount. It's generally just a bunch of random prompts that come in every now and again, and that can get a little bit samey after a while. Sounds on the monsters aren't really all that great either, but there's a sufficient variety of them. Just dodge behind here, and then get my gun out and pop back through there again. Combat is... I wouldn't even say the combat's basic because of the actual targeting system. It's a shame that I'm not showing you a character that has an assault rifle, actually, because the assault rifles and the shotguns, you can actually fire an assault rifle in a 3-round burst and target 3 different targets at once, which is kind of great, and you can do that sort of by marking them with the targeting system. So, again, the combat system is not what I call basic at all. It's actually surprisingly complex. Which, ooh, hello. Yeah, this is getting really, really bad. Let's reload the pistol and then use a med kit. Ow, 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 ow. Poisoned, infected, diseased, roguelikes. There we go. Okay, I may be able to survive this. My pistol is damaged, my armor's been damaged again. Oh, no. Oh, this game is mean. It is not an easy game at all. But such is the nature of such titles. That's good. So, I think I'd recommend it based on what I've played of it so far. It seems like a nice little bit of fun. Again, it's not really all that expensive. If you're looking for a first experience in roguelikes, I'd probably go with Dungeons of Dread more. It is cheaper. And it's got some good content available for it as well. So, that's something you may wish to consider. But if you're looking for something that's kind of like that, then this is definitely a game that I think you'll get quite a bit out of. So I would not hesitate to say you might want to give it a shot. I believe there's also a demo available as well, so if you do want to try it yourself before you actually dig into purchasing it, then you will be able to do that. And I'm out of ammo again. Let's reload and get bitten by bloodthirsty, rabies-infected bats. Sounds reasonable. In space, of course. Alien bats. I'm diseased, I'm gonna die. Of course I've been infected with a disease. How ridiculous. Let's use one more med kit, burn through that. There we go. So the stars, the pit, ladies and gentlemen. Not too shabby at all, surprisingly enough. Might be worthy of your time. Give it a look. My name's been TotalBiscuit. Thank you very much for watching. Apologies for stumbling over my words for no apparent reason. Apparently I've been infected by some kind of word stumbling disease. Yes, quite. I'll see you next time.